Welcome back to Top 5 Vinyl, where we show love to vinyl owners. Today I'm here with JR. How's it going, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. And you feel good to be here.
Yeah, man. Now, I understand you have a YouTube channel. You want to tell the people about that?
Yes, I am JR from the R&B Representative. Shout out to my co-star Naturally Elise, and we have a YouTube channel. And you type in this, what is it? The search bar. You type in the R&B Representatives, and we'll come right on up, and you'll see as many videos that we have. We talked about so many important albums, and we have conversations about the culture, and we just love R&B and really just want to push it. And you know how we are right now with the way they treating our genre right now. You know what I mean? So me and Elise is like, look, if we could do something instead of being online and debating people and all that, let's just create a platform. And that's what we did. So y'all just check out the R&B Representatives on YouTube, on
Hmm.
Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff is R&B Reps. And that's
Right.
it.
And I'm gonna put all the information at the bottom of the screen so they can find you.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
Nice. And before we officially get started, I want everybody to like the channel, subscribe to all your friends, all that cool stuff you guys gotta do in YouTube land out there, you know? With that being said, JR, vinyl.
Yes.
Do you remember the first vinyl record that you bought with your own money?
Damn, I thought you was gonna ask the first one that I got.
Hmm.
That I got. Oh, the first one I actually got that I paid for with my own money was Nas's Illmatic.
Okay.
Before then, I'm a vinyl world because my family of we love vinyl. They love vinyl. So every Friday night, since I was a little kid, we would play vinyls on the vinyl records. So
Hmm.
my mom still has them today. So
Hmm.
I wanted to take them,
Huh.
but my mother said I don't think so. No, no, no. So
Right.
she actually was like, you know what? I'm gonna get you. She started me in 2011,
Mm.
and she gave me my first vinyl, which was Michael Jackson's "Off the Wall." So
Mm.
that was the first vinyl I got.
Okay.
So then when I started going, I was like, all right, I'm gonna start vinyl collecting because clearly mom ain't gonna give me her vinyl, even though she gonna give it to me anyway,
Right.
mom.
Right.
And she was like, yo, all right. So I went out and I just went around and I said, okay, I love R&B to the fullest, but I was like, I saw that Nas Illmatic and I said, you know what? That'll be my first vinyl that I actually buy. And
That's
that
awesome.
was the Vice Vernon that I brought.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Okay. And that introduces my one of my good questions is so you obviously just said you grew up with vinyl records in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Was the record player on or off limits to you?
I'm laughing because in the beginning it was
Mm.
because my mother always tell me I was always into stuff. My
Mm-hmm.
grandparents was like, "You always into stuff. You always breaking stuff."
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to the vinyl, they was like that. It was limits to it until
Okay.
they showed me how to actually put on a 45 with the spider.
Right.
Actually showed me how to put everything. Make sure it's at 33 when you're playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So once they realized, oh, he's good, then it was on limits. But before
Okay.
then, it was off. Don't touch the vinyl, none of that. So it
Right.
was like I would run up to it. Oh, nah, I ain't getting in trouble today. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it alone
Exactly.
and just go look at the vinyls and look at the liner notes and shit. So yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay. So growing up, like your mom had a bunch of vinyl. What was she listening to?
Okay, so my family is my grandparents are from the South. So they were definitely more of the Tyrone Davis and Betty Wright and
Mm.
um who else? Bobby Womack, the Sam Cooke, that. My mother is an 80s.
Mm.
She was partying in the 80s. So
Mm.
she was with West End Records, like
Mm.
Heartbeat with Tanya Gardner is her favorite record. So
Mm.
she
Mm.
played that over and over
Right.
and over. You know what I'm saying? So that was her thing. But my grandparents were so Southern soul, even though they were in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that's what I remember a lot, and a lot of James Brown, a
Mm.
lot of
Mm.
James Brown. So
Mm.
those were the ones that I would hear a lot as a kid. So
Mm.
it would be those.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, do you have a favorite record store to buy vinyl records from?
Now it's crazy because where I used to live, it used to be these little small mom and pop vinyl, areas
Mm.
you could get, but then they closed down, especially after
Mm.
COVID.
Right.
So
Right.
it was a lot of that I couldn't even go anymore. So now we got one down here in Baltimore. It's called Soundgarden,
Mm.
and you go there and they got vinyl there. But to be honest with you, even though I love, the vinyl, digging and things like that, I don't mind going online to Discog.
Ah,
I don't mind going to eBay. I done got a couple from eBay. You
right.
know what I'm saying? So that's no biggie to me. I do like going there and looking through some things sometimes, but it's like now with everything, I'm like, nah, I go on Discogs. If I can find it, I'm good. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
That's me.
That's funny. Okay. So let me ask you this though. In a single trip to the record store, do you remember the most amount of vinyl records that you bought at one time?
Yes, 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 yes.
Mm,
I went to a vinyl spot in South Philly, and me and my best friend was we were I don't know why we went there. I think it was my birthday weekend,
mm,
and we all decided to go to Philly, and we were walking up South Street, and I saw a vinyl spot,
mm.
and I said, "Uh oh,
Huh.
we in there." And I went in there and I spent $217.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, and so I remember when I got home, and I don't even live with my mother. I was scared to tell her. Like, I don't even live with my mother. My mother lives in a different state than me.
Right.
And she was like, I was like, Ma, I found this vinyl spot. I found all these good vinyls. She was like, oh, well, how much you spend? I was like, I tried to move on from
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And she was like, no, 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 no. How much did you spend? I
Mm-hmm.
was like, $217. She said, Julia, that's ridiculous. Like, what is I was like, well, you want let me get the vinyls that you want?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I could have saved $217 if you would just let me got yours. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
good, but that's the most that I spent. But I haven't spent that much since though. I ain't gonna
Okay.
lie to
Okay. Okay.
you.
Uh, how hard was it for you to narrow down the top five of your records?
When you asked me that question, I said he's very petty for this. I was like,
Wow.
he's very petty for this.
That's
So
hilarious.
instead, I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna go with my top 5 albums of all
Mm.
time
Okay.
instead of going with my top 5 vinyls because I still got vinyls on the floor thanks to you. Because when you said pick your five, and I'm like, five? How? Like,
Right.
how am I gonna do this? Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm just gonna go with my top 5 albums of all time, and then we take it from there. So,
Okay.
and my mother's waiting for this episode, so she don't even know what finals I'm gonna pick. So
Okay.
I don't, so because she was like, "How you gonna pick five?" I said, "Ma, I don't know," but I said, "Look." Like he gave me a week, so I'm like I'm in. I was like he gave me a week, so
Oh man.
so so I was like, you know what? And then I told Elise, and I was like, well, shoot, Elise, you worse than me. So
Right.
I ain't
Right.
got nothing to worry about. I was like, so she was like, you'll be fine. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my top
That's
five
awesome.
albums
All
of all
right.
time. So
All right. One more question before we get into it.
yes,
Have you seen any of your top five perform live before?
yes, yes,
Mm.
I have. I've
Okay.
seen. I saw one. Wait a minute.
Mm.
One, two, two. I've
Okay.
seen two of them. Two
Okay.
of them perform live.
When we get there, you have to remind me.
Yes, I
Okay.
definitely will.
All right.
I
Cool.
definitely will.
And with that said, JR, this is top five vinyl. Yes, it's that time, sir.
Yes. So
Can you
are we going
share?
from 5 to 1 or you doing one?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
All right. All right.
What do we
All
have for
right.
number five over there?
Okay. Number 5, George Michael. Listen
Mm.
Without Prejudice.
Mm.
This album meant a lot to me when I turned 18 years old. When I first went to college, it was like I was on my own. You know what I mean? And I've been a fan of George Michael with, him with Wham and Faith, but this album spoke to me more. You
Mm.
know what I mean? And I was me in college, you brand new, you're trying to find yourself, you don't
Mm.
really know who you are. You still, still got some, milk on your mama, you know what I'm saying, coming from her, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to find myself and learn who I am for real. And this album really, really touched me in so many ways. And this album means so much to me. And I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't listen to this album when I was 18 years old. So
Mm.
with songs like Freedom and Something to Say and Waiting for That Day, Heal the Pain, Soul Free, like, and I think this album with George, it was more about his songwriting because he dealt with a lot when he did Fade.
Mm-hmm.
That brought him over, and people started looking more at the image than more of his songwriting. And this, he was like, I want y'all to listen to this album Without Prejudice. And
Mm.
I definitely did, and it touched me. And that's
Mm.
why it's in my top 5 of all
Nice.
time for real.
Now I'm
So
curious. It's an interesting front cover. What's on the back of that?
just this,
Ah,
just the
okay.
yeah. He said he want everybody to be the same color
Mm,
because he actually won faith in R&B categories, and he
mm,
got criticized for it. So that's why he said this. I want y'all to listen to this album without prejudice, and that's why everybody looks the same on front of the album cover. So
gotcha. All
yeah,
right, cool, cool.
yeah,
So that's your number five.
yes.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your number four.
All righty, this is one of the ones that I actually saw live.
Okay.
Janet Jackson's
Ah, okay.
The Velvet Rope.
Okay.
This album, man, meant a lot to me because at 11 years old, this touched me.
Mm,
This hit me because in that time, I didn't feel special at all. I felt different, and I didn't feel like I was like I'm like I felt like I was ostracized.
mm,
And with an album like this, Janet kind of understood me. And it was like the first time I got this was on cassette. I don't know if these kids know about cassette either. And I got this, and I just remember sitting in the car when my mom got it, and it hit me like an album that I didn't never felt before. Like it
mm,
felt different to me. Well,
mm,
with songs like You and Free Zone and My Need and what I'm saying, and I Get Lonely and stuff like that, and Can't Be Stopped. So this album means so much to me. I wouldn't be the JR that I am today
mm.
without this album right here. So
That's awesome.
Janet, thank you. And then I got to see her live twice. So this is
Mm,
great.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool, cool.
Mm,
That's your number four.
yes.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your number three.
Number three. This one is my childhood, and it's Sam Cooke live at the Copa.
Mm,
This is the
mm,
1978 copy because the other one is just black and him on the cover, and it looks like he's singing. But this album is my childhood. If you
mm.
wanted to know what my household was like,
Ha,
you
right.
play Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke is like a national treasure. It was my
Mm,
grandfather's favorite singer. It was my grandmother loved him because he was cute. That's why. And and he played this album so much, it was ridiculous. So you can, if my grandfather would play this in any part that it was on, if it was on Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out, if I had a hammer, me and my mom was just singing this a couple of days ago, and
mm,
we walk in the house, and no matter what part is on, any one of us could sing it. So this album is my childhood, and that's why definitely in my top five. So if you want to know who JR is and how my family get down, listen to this because we parties with this one.
that's awesome. That's
Yes,
so cool. Okay,
yeah.
okay. That's your
Mhm.
number three.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and take a look at your number two.
Number two, we are talking about whose birthday is today,
Mm,
actually.
mm,
Marvin Gaye, What's Going On?
mm,
This was actually the first 8 track because my family played 8 tracks as well.
mm,
This was the first 8 track that I grabbed that I played, and
mm,
I was maybe 4 years old.
mm.
And they didn't mind me doing the 8 track, y'all. But they
Right.
didn't mind that. The vinyl, no, but the 8 track, they didn't mind. And I put that in. And when I heard What's Happening, Brother, and Save the Children, and this is at 4 years old, it touched me. And when I listen to this album to this day, which is timeless, it still feels like the first time that I listened to it.
Mm,
So
mm,
this album means just everything to me. And I mean, Inner City Blues. He took the mainstream through the hood and let
mm.
them really understand what we go through. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And he
Mm,
was, in his Cadillac just riding us
mm.
through the hood. And this album just means a lot to me. So this was actually when I really started really on my vinyl digging. This was probably one of the first albums that I had to get on
Mm.
vinyl. So yeah, this is
Nice.
number two.
All right, cool. JR
Yes,
for the grand finale.
yes, indeed.
What do we have for number one?
Number one, I think y'all have seen it up there. If you can
Mm,
see what that album is,
mm-hmm.
Mary's My Life is number one, my favorite album of all time. This album means so much to me. Um, During that time between 94 and 96 was kind of a tough time for me and mom. And this album spoke to us in so many ways and it got us through. And anytime I listen to this album, it's all about trying for me.
Mm,
So this album means everything to me. And when I got this vinyl, and I got it off Discogs because it's hard getting this album. And this is the 1994 version.
Mm,
And when I found it, and I remember when I got home and it was in front of my door, I don't care what y'all say, but I cried when I got it
mm,
because I was
mm,
like, wow, I
mm,
really have this album on vinyl. You know what
mm.
I mean? Because I didn't have the CD, we don't have so many times, the cassette that I'm popped so many times,
Huh.
and me to finally get it on vinyl, and I can look at this album now and be like, wow, I have triumphed. You know what I mean? So this
Hmm.
album means so much to me, and I've seen Mary live about 4 or 5 times.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
she's my favorite artist. So yes, so that's why this one is my favorite album of all time. So Mary's my life.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And JR, can you share one more time where the people can find you out there?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. All that is JR's World of Soul on Instagram and Twitter. But you can find me also on R&B Reps. Shout out again to my co-host Naturally Elise. But you can type in R&B Reps on Twitter, R&B Reps on Instagram. Our YouTube page is the R&B Representatives. You type in the search bar, and then our website is rnbreps.com, and find everything that you
Hmm.
need R&B. We talk crazy, dramatic, but you're gonna learn the history and learn everything. And we just love this R&B thing. So just check us out there.
Nice, nice, cool. All right, man. We'll talk soon. Thanks so much.
All right.
Yeah, man. Peace.
All right.